Alright guys, welcome back for another episode. I got a hot water tank for you today. We're going to change one of these bad boys. I'm going to show you how to do it. Stick with me. I'm down here in the basement, so I apologize for the sound quality and as much light as I can get. Right now I got the hose hooked up down here. I open up the valve, got that draining out. So what I'm going to do is show you how we, right here is the shut-off valve for the cold. Every hot water tank should have one right above it where it comes in. So you're going to crank that, shut that off. You want to get it closed as tight as you can. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it off right here, and that's where we're going to disconnect the hot water tank. We'll take the vent off, which just pops off. You just got to take a couple screws off. Alright guys, so right here is the gas. It's going to come down usually in the same spot in the front of every one of these tanks. Right here is the shut-off valve. What you want to do is, I already shut this off, but it would be open like that, so it's straight across. You're really just going to take a wrench and just close it so that it's perpendicular. Okay, that'll close it off. Then this is a union nut right here. You're going to use one wrench on this one, and then this wrench will go on here, and you're literally just going to twist this off. All this does is connect the two fittings together. Once you loosen that up, it might be kind of tight to first get it to break loose, but then once it gets loosened up, it comes off like that, and then this line will just come off, just like that. And then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to disconnect all these pieces. So you have to unscrew this piece, and then these two pieces will come off. If we can make this fit back on, we will on the new one. Otherwise, as long as the code permits in your town, you can use a flex line, and I'll show you how to. Okay, so for this part, you need one of two pipe cutters. You can get them, I'll link them in the description. You can get them any Home Depot or Lowe's. What we're going to do is hook it up on here, and I'll show you how we do it. So for this one, I have enough room, so I'm going to use the bigger one. What I'm going to do is you just put it over the pipe like this. On this gas line, I'm going to have to raise up. So you're just going to spin it around like so. You're going to tighten it a little bit. And you're just going to go like this, back and forth. And you're just going to tighten it up every once in a while as you're going around. And that's it. It's cut. We're going to do the same thing for this one, and then I'll get right back with you. Alright, so in this case I got the old one out. I rolled the new one in here. You can see this is the new one. I got both the lines cleaned up and ready to go. Now if you have a lot of room above here, you can use these flex lines. They actually just have the push fitting like you saw in the 1/4" rails. And then this end just threads onto these nipples right here that come on the top of the tank. So you're just going to put some of that tape, that Teflon tape that I used in the last video. And then what you want to do is get some pipe dope. If you go to Home Depot and ask them for pipe dope, I'll link it in the description too, but you get some of that, put that on there, and then these thread right down on these nipples. And then if you have enough room up above here, you're just going to push these right on, just like the 1/4" ones. You just slide it over the pipe and push it up nice and tight, okay? In this case, I'm going to solder these because I have the equipment for soldering. It'll be easier for me. So stick tight, I'll get my soldering stuff, we'll do this. Alright guys, I'm not going to get into soldering too much, but I'll show you how I solder this all together, now that I got it all pieced together, okay? Alright, that should do it. So in the case of the gas line, this is the setup. And you can see when I set mine right where I want it, it doesn't exactly set up with where the old one was. So what you're going to want to do is, you're going to take this piece off that was sticking out this way. You're going to take that off, you're going to reuse this piece, and you're going to attach it to here. You're just going to thread that union back on, like so. So once you thread that back on, then this is the kit I was talking about. You get this gas line right here, and that'll attach from here to here with the fittings that are in here. I'll show you. Excuse the furnace in the background. That happens when you're working down here. You can see this comes with the two fittings. So you're going to put that tape and the sealant on there, just like the rest of it. And one end's going to go into here, and the other end will go into this T right here. So you can just kind of loop it around like that, whatever you need to do to make that work. But that's an easier connection. Otherwise, you'd have to get a different size nipple to put on here, in which case probably use something like that size, which will put it a little bit closer for me. Although I might even be able to get away with a smaller one like this. So one of those two options. But I'll get this all put back together. All we're going to do is thread everything back together, and it'll sit right like that, just like the old one did. What you're going to see when you put this together, you use the hard pipes, you're going to have to do this one first. That's going to have to get threaded in first, and then the T will go onto that end, and then this will be your last piece to put on, because that has to get connected at the end. I'll show you when you're threading these together. You're probably going to need to get a pipe wrench, either rent one or buy one if you know somebody who has one, and a pair of channel locks. You're going to hold the one fitting with the channel locks, and then the pipe wrench goes over the pipe and tights it like so. You just want to snug that down real nice, just like that. And that's how you do every fitting as far as the gas line goes. And then we'll do the same thing when we hook it up to here. Put this piece on first, like so. If you're wondering what the plug is underneath here, it's actually for water. They leave that in there for condensation. So you got to make sure you have some kind of a drip spot right here where the condensation can build up. They don't want it going in. So then we'll just thread on the next piece, which is right here. This is the pipe dope I was talking about. You're just going to put it right on the threads. Comes with a little brush in there. Same thing, we'll just thread that in. And once that's threaded in, we'll be able to hook this right up to the top. Alright, I just turned the water on. We got to swap over this vent tube from the old one. That just unscrews like the rest of the pipes. This is the blow-off valve, so if there's any pressure relief or something needs to be done, that's what that's for. So literally I just took this off the old one. I'm just going to screw it back on here, tighten it down a little bit. It's not holding any pressure, so you don't need to get crazy tightening it down. It's just so the water goes down to the floor. So now I put the vent hood piece on here. That just sticks in the top. You'll see little dots in the top. You see these little dots right here. It literally just pushes right in on top of here. And then we're going to hook the vent back up, which is just this 90 right here. I'm going to get that hooked back up. It just goes right in here, like so. And then we'll push it right in there. So I get that hooked back up. Tank's all full, and turn the gas on, and I'll come back, we'll turn the gas on and get this thing fired. Alright, so most of these are the same. It should be a similar setup to this one. What you're going to do is you're going to turn this dial to pilot. We're going to turn on the valve, which we use open it right up like that. That'll let the gas back in. Turn this to pilot, and then we're going to hold that. What that's going to do is it's going to cycle the gas through, or at least let it go through. We'll give it a second. Then as we're holding this pilot button down where my thumb is, we're going to hit the igniter. And you're going to hit it every couple seconds. It's going to take a second for the gas to get in there. And then this will take a little while. Once it's lit, this status light will start blinking. And once it lights, you're going to keep holding this pilot button, because what it's got to do is it's got to heat up the igniter. So you can see it's blinking now. We'll give that a couple seconds. And then what we're going to do is you're going to let up, and you're going to turn it on. And then you can set your levels. You'll hear it fire up. You hear that little click, it fired up. So now it's running. So the different settings on here is there's hot, and then it goes up to very hot. During the winter time, usually you want to keep it up hotter, either at B or C. If you just want a good in between, I would say in between A and B is probably a good spot, because usually the very hot will be too hot during the summer times. So I'll put it at B right now. That should be a good spot to keep it. And we're all done. That's it. It's up and running. So the gist of it is, this is your shutoff valve for the gas. Usually it'll be right here. Sometimes it'll be up top, closer to the ceiling. So you just have to look for it, but it should be one right near the hot water tank to shut it off. All right, so in conclusion, this is what it looks like. I know it was a quick rundown, run you through the steps. You're gonna shut the gas off, this little valve right here. You're gonna shut the water off, which is this valve right here. Once that's all off, then you can drain the tank, which there'll always be a drain down here that you can hook a hose up to. Hook a hose up to that, open it up, let it start draining out. A tip is, in your house, you're gonna wanna open up all the faucets to the hot side. And what it'll do is it'll let all the air get in and it'll help it empty this tank out a lot faster. Usually what takes a while is emptying this out. Once you get it like half filled and disconnected at the lines here, you can shimmy it out of the way usually by rolling it, standing up and rolling it, and then you can get the new one in while it finished draining, like I did. Okay, so after you do that, you're going to cut your copper lines here. Some of you might have plastic lines depending on how new your house is, but it's the same general idea. You're just going to cut it right here and you're going to put a coupling on it. In that case, you can use those shark bite couplings too if it's easier to do it that way. Where it gets tricky is the height here. Sometimes the height's a little different with the newer tanks and the older tanks. Same with the gas line. If you notice the gas line, I had to change a couple nipples because the gas line's a little different, where it sits. That's where it comes in handy to have those flex lines. Let me show you the lines that we have with this flex line. That's what it looks like. It's a shark bite flex line. They come in different lengths. This is definitely the easier way to do it because most of the hot water tanks nowadays come with those nipples on them. So you can just thread this right on and then literally just cut your pipe up so this fits real nice up there, and it'll be a nice easy way to hook those up. Obviously I did the solder route. I have experience in soldering. If you guys want to learn a little bit about soldering, let me know. Maybe I can do a video on it. I just didn't get too into it because I figured most of you weren't going to do it. You're just going to do it the easier way. So between that flex line and then the flex line for the gas, I think this is like a $20 part. Instead of messing around with all these threaded pipes, you can just put that on instead. If you have any more questions on that, let me know too, and I can give you like a close-up view of how to hook that up. But in the meantime, this is all. That's it. I got the old tank here. It's still emptying. Once that's empty, we can take it upstairs and throw it out. And this is what the new one looks like. Most of them are about the same size, so they fit in usually pretty good. Like, you can see the water lines are always the same distance, so they'll hook right up. But like this ceiling's a little low, so it's a little more difficult to work in here, which is why I ended up soldering it instead of doing the flex line. It was just a little too tight. But in most cases, you'll have a little more room like this one over here. So that's it. I got a couple more videos coming up, and I got a cool little project we're gonna do later on this week. I'm gonna do some bed rails for the baby's crib because I can't find bed rails for it. So I'm just gonna make some bed rails and we'll paint them white to match the crib. But I'll give you a rundown on that. Subscribe. I got the email or the website up and running. If you want to check it out, there's some videos on there, same videos. Subscribe, hit the notification, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.